Saturday, April 3rd, about 5 o'clock, 5:30. Last night, April 2nd, about 10:30, I got a text. Said my grandfather passed away, and he's in a better place now. And I want to tell you a little bit about him. It's about 30 degrees, so I'm going to start a fire and give you a little, I guess, just reflect on what he meant to me and my family. So, it's cold. His name was Johnny Wilson Hilliard. He got up before everyone, so he says. If you got up at 4 o'clock, he got up at 3. If you got up at 3 o'clock, he got up at 2. If you stayed awake all night, he stayed awake for 2 nights. Great storyteller, hard-working farmer all his life. From sun up to sundown, that's all he did was worked. Loved his coffee, and loved his wife, Meemaw, which she passed away around 11 years ago. He was a hard worker. All I ever knew him was as a farmer and a trader. He restored tractors and he worked on a farm. He had 100+ head of cattle, and he had quite a bit of farmland that he did. When I was growing up, we would do soybean, wheat, maize for the cows, or Milo, some people would call. I'll be right back. He had 3 kids, 5 grandkids, and I can't remember, 10, 11 great grandkids. He was 85 years old. The doctors told him that he had cancer. I believe it was in 2019. Said he gave him 6 months to live, and he lived 2.5 years. He said he had 2 years left to work on the farm. And that's what he did. And he wanted to work till he died, and that too is what he did. My mom said that even to the day that he was passing, he was talking about how he fixed things and would do things well on the farm. I remember when I was little, he dared me. I don't know if it was a dare, but he kind of told me that you better not squirt him with the squirt gun. We had little water guns, and we were having water fights at their house, and he was on the back porch, and I aimed it at him like a little kid always does, and tempts his granddad, and He said, boy, don't you do that. He said, I'll catch you and pin you down and beat you. Well, fate might have had it. I just went ahead and tempted the old guy, shot him right in the face with a water gun, and he jumps up, and within 30 yards, he had caught me, tackled me, and whipped my butt, all in fun, but yeah, that was who he was. Don't challenge him because he's going to one-up you. No matter what you did, he had done it and probably done it better. He was always first, even if it was putting the first seed in the garden. He would have to plant before everyone else. No matter if he lost that whole crop that year, he had to put it in before anyone else. If he got wind of someone putting their crop in, he would run out there and at least put some in, just so he could be first. And he would always brag about how big of a yield of crops that he had. I think it was just in fun, but that's the kind of person that he was. He knew how to fix everything with duct tape and baling wire. I think half of his equipment, he was the only one that could start it, crank it, and drive it. I started driving tractors, I would say at 11 or 12. I remember him telling me to get up there. He said, push that clutch in on that tractor. So as long as you could push the clutch in, you could drive the tractor. So I grabbed the steering wheel and I pushed the clutch, and I couldn't do it the first time. And within a couple of weeks of just getting up there after school and pushing that clutch in, because I was determined to drive the tractor. After a few weeks of pushing that clutch in, my legs got strong enough and figured out how to do it. And he said, all right, you're ready. And his way of teaching was very out of the ordinary. He said, here's first, second, third, high, low, move the levers to figure everything out. Go out in the field, move all the levers around till you figure everything out, and then come back and see me in about 5 minutes. That was your training about driving a tractor. And I'm pretty sure every one of the grandkids were taught the same way. Let me get this fire going a little bit more. Papaw loved to drive around on his farm and look at his cows. He said, if you know how many cows you got, you don't have enough. Because I'd always ask him, how many you got? He said, I don't know. Never wanted to get rid of them. They were pretty well a part of his family. Extended family, I guess. Dog's smoking too. I bought some Cuban cigars and sent them to him when I was in the Marine Corps. I was overseas. I think I was in Turkey, and I sent them to him because he used to smoke cigars. After that box of cigars, he never smoked again. He would give them away because they were too strong, but I think I made him stop smoking. Pretty sure of it. That's what he told me anyway. but he did finish the box off, or at least gave them away. I thought it was pretty funny. Don't ever remember him fishing, but we used to go fishing in all the ponds where the cows drank. We used to swim in them too. Probably half the reason things are wrong with me right now. Doubt it though. He's hard-headed, stubborn like the rest of us. I think it's in the genes. And I'm carrying the tradition of hard-headed and stubbornness along with me. I'm sure everybody else in the family is too. He did instill in all of us hard work. If you don't work, you don't eat. If you don't work, you don't make money, you don't eat. And that's the way it goes. He always told me, work for someone else until you can get a job and work for yourself. Some of the family have done that and others have not. I personally have chosen not to. I enjoy my hobby of woodworking and metal working and whatever else, just having fun out in my little shop here. But I like working the 7 to 3:30 and getting off and having my time with the family and with myself. One of the stories he always told me, and I remember because he always reminded me, was Old Blue. Old Blue was a 40s or 50s grain truck. Had no brakes. Wasn't even blue, it was rusted red. The only thing that was nice on it was a chrome grill. Old Blue didn't have any brakes whatsoever. The way you slowed it down was you downshifted, and you can't find them, you grind them, shifted down until you slowed down and come to a stop. You could pump the brakes, but nothing ever happened. Never would fix the brakes. Probably knew how, but just didn't want to. Always had something bigger and better to do. So we were bringing in the crops, whether it was oats or wheat, whatever it was. I was probably 13, 14 years old. He had a combine, and he was combining right there on that 120 acres. Family will know where it's at. Right in front of my other grandparents' old house. So he was combining that, and I went in, dumped a load of grain at the farm where the silos and stuff were. We dumped it, came back around, headed back around the corner. I was probably going a little too fast, probably wasn't like 35 or something like that, but too fast to slow down in time. And there was a tractor with a water tank on the back. It was, I don't know whether it was a 500 to 1,000 gallon water tank. Had a little spigot on the back, fiberglass spigot with a shut-off valve on it. So I had come around the corner and I was slowing down, and I downshifted, third, second, first, and I was slowing down. And you had to come off onto the opposite side of the road, and there was a ditch. Come down, and you come up on the other side of the ditch, and you slow down. And we had CB radios, or he called me on, "Hey, you're going too fast, you're going too fast." Small kid, grabbing everything. I'm good on the CB, and you're driving, and you think you're the king of the world. Well, I didn't slow down in time, and I just bumped that water tank spigot on that chrome grill. The only thing that was good on that truck was that chrome grill, and I just bumped it. I think there was a silver dollar size dent in it or so. Well, he got off at combine when he made the round. I told you you was going too fast. Look at what you did. And I got thinking back. The whole thing was rusted out. I mean, the cab, everything's rusted. Good condition, but still it was rusted, an old blue. And he said, I did the only thing good on old blue. Back in January when we went home to see him, he was still pretty sound mind, and he reminded me again that I damaged old blue. Every time I went into Texas, he reminded me that I put the only dent in old blue. But it was a good story, and he remembered it well. My granddad was always a handshaker. He didn't do fist bumps and anything like that. He was always known for, he said, you can tell a man by the shake of his hand, I guess, or by the grip of his hand. Even, I guess, during COVID, there ain't no bumping the elbows or anything like that. I guess it was his sign of respect by you shake his hand. You be a man, you shake his hand. Kind of showed my son same thing. If you got an I love you out of my granddad, you were lucky. He didn't show that kind of love to too many people. If you said it, he'd be like, all right, well, I'll see you soon, or come see me, or something like that. Love was very meaningful to him, and if he gave it to you, or he told you, then he really meant it. And he did love his family a lot. Do anything for them. My granddad was ate up with cancer, head to toe. I don't know how bad. My aunt had the pictures, and obviously on the scans it was from head to toe, whether it was brain, bone, liver, lung. It was just ate up with cancer. He suffered for quite a while, but a strong man, but just the cancer was overpowering at times, I guess. He also had Bell's palsy, which is sagging of the face. And they did some surgeries to try to lift his face up a little bit and try to get some of the cancer removed to relieve the pressure from his brain and everything else, but he refused chemo and radiation and all of that. And I think that benefited him, because sometimes when they open up and start going in after the cancer, it spreads so fast you can't catch it. I don't know what it is. I'm not a doctor, nor do I want to be one. Thankful for him, but don't want to be one. But it did finally get the best of him. Strong-willed, didn't want to take anything too much. I think Tylenol 3 with codeine was what he was on for the last part of his life, when he couldn't take just a little bit of Tylenol to ease the pain. He finally stepped up to the Tylenol 3, but all in all, that's pretty well how he died, was the cancer. We finally got the best of him. But when he was diagnosed, he was told that he had 6 months to live if he didn't go through chemo and radiation, and he told the doctors that he had 2 years worth of farming left in him before he could even think about dying. And on March 18th was his birthday, and I think that was somewhere around the time that they gave him the 6 month to live, and it had been like 2.5 years. So another one up by, you're not going to tell me when I'm going to die, I'm going to die when I get ready to. And that's the way he did. He died when he got ready to, not when the doctors told him he was going to die. Third cup of coffee. It's 10 till 7 now. Just reflecting back on all the memories that I had with my granddad. They're very good, loving memories of him. There's only two things that are a given in this world. That's taxes and death, is what I was just told yesterday. You will pay your taxes, and you are going to die sometime. To my mom, aunt, and uncle, I appreciate y'all taking care of him. And doing as he requested. He died at his house. He didn't die in no hospital. He wanted to die on the farm, and that's what y'all did for him. Some families would just put him in a nursing home because they don't have time for him. I believe y'all did the right thing by doing as he requested and sticking it out for him. I know there was some struggles, there was some arguments, because again, we're all stubborn. It's that Hilliard family. That bloodline is pretty strong. But I want to say thank you. It goes to show you how much he was respected and loved by y'all. Let not your heart be troubled. You believe in God, and believe in me also. In my Father's house are many mansions. If it were not so, I would have told you. I go to prepare a place for you. And if I go to prepare a place for you, I will come again and receive you unto myself, that where I am, there you may be also. Jesus said unto them, I am the way, the truth, and the life. No man comes unto the Father but by me. If you had known me, you should have known my Father also. And from here on you know him and have seen him.